Hi, this is Dan Collins coming to you live from the Las Vegas Traders Expo. Next to me is Todd Bubba Horwitz from BubbaTrading.com. Talk a little bit about what you do at BubbaTrading.com.
Well, Dan, at BubbaTrading.com we do a lot of educational things. We teach people how to hedge their portfolios, equities. We teach them how to trade futures part-time. We teach them how to hedge their farm because we do a lot of work in the farming industry as well. So we use all the derivative products that are out there. We're trying to teach and help educate everybody, because the biggest thing we can all get from a trading perspective is to be educated to understand what we're trying to accomplish before we do it.
Yeah, that's an important point, because it's easy, especially when you're talking about leverage products like futures and options. What we notice here at this event is that everyone trades options, and especially, but there's a concentration on equity options. Now, the concept of options are the same with futures and equities, but there are some differences. So, for people who are used to, what would you tell people who want to trade options on futures who only trade options on equities?
That's a great question, Dan, because the difference is equity options are obviously standardized. They're all the same. 1 equals 100 shares. The difference in futures options is you have to know the tick size and the contract size of the product you're trading, because it changes. For example, corn and wheat and soybeans trade in 5,000 bushels, so one option represents 5,000 bushels. Okay, you've got the currencies trade at a $12.50 tick size. The contract itself is 125,000. So there's a lot of differences in how they measure up when you're done. So you want to make sure you understand the tick size and the size of the contract that you're trading. They're great tools. They're great to be able to create some leverage and also give you limited risk. Right, when you buy an option, you can only lose the price of the premium, but you got to make sure you know what you're committing to when you buy that option, because it's not the same as if you pay $2 for an equity option. It's $200. It's not at all like that. You have to understand the value of the contract, the tick size, and how it trades.
Yeah, and people on the equity side often are afraid of futures. Probably shouldn't be, because the risk is in the leverage is all in their own hands, and it also gives them opportunities. But the other thing with options is you can define your risk better, especially if they're nervous about that, and that can help.
Well, I actually think from a personal standpoint, I trade them all. Okay, I trade options. I think there's different horses for different courses. I think if you want to be an active trader, like trading during the day, then you want to trade futures. They have no more risk than options because you can set stops just like anything else. In fact, futures have a benefit from a day trading standpoint because they don't fall under FINRA regulations and they don't fall under Reg T. So somebody with a smaller account who wants to trade intraday can trade more often. Futures options, again, they have everything has a purpose for you. For example, I do not day trade options. I swing trade options to set up a longer term position. But I will day trade the actual futures because, again, the risk is minimal if you're going to use proper money management and use proper tools on how to enter and exit those trades.
You sleep a lot better when you go home flat also, don't you?
You close the door in the factory, you got no inventory, you got no payables, you go home, you're done, you come back to work the next day and you start all over again.
You know, we're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be back with Todd from BubbaTrading.com live at the Las Vegas Traders Expo.